to take warp goals either. In fact, I can't take warp goals, but that ruins the run. Luckily, I've had a lot of practice, so I probably won't accidentally take any. But, first order of business, which monkey will have the honor of being flung around at top speed?
Which monkey? Well, that it is of course going to be it, baby.
I'm baby. Incredible. Okay.
Apparently so.
I'll explain a little bit more about the monkeys later, but first things first, this is not the beginning of the run. I'm gonna enter beginner and I'm going to quit right back out because this is a load manip. The next time I load this stage, now it's gonna load about a second faster. It's not much, but hey, it saves a second, and in a game like this, a game as optimized as this one, you definitely want to save those seconds where you can, so I will take the free second of time save. Without further ado, let's get the show on the road. On go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I almost reached over to hit my spacebar to start my timer, but I don't have one next to me. Anyway, you're going to see me boost just that movement diagonally at the beginning. You accelerate faster diagonally, just a quirk of the game's engine, so that's called boosting. It also works in midair, which is pretty cool. There's a warp goal behind me. I will not be taking that, as previously mentioned. This is Warpless. So I'm going to come up on a bonus stage and a couple of levels here, and I don't particularly care about lives because, like I said, I don't need to access the extra stages. And so I'm just going to jump right out of this bonus stage. Lives do matter a little bit, because if I use a continue, that takes longer than just one normal death, but it's not a huge deal. Obviously the run doesn't die or anything, so yep, we are going to hop right out of this bonus stage. Just like so. Okay. And this trick is a bit tough for how early on the stage is. The second half of beginner really ramps up. First try? Cool. This stage is entirely movement based, so I'm going to explain at the stage after. You're going to see me pause pretty soon. This game is entirely deterministic, so if I do the same input on the same frame every time, then I will get the same result. And I can use the frame accurate timer at the top of the screen and pause on a specific frame. And then if I do a specific input using the notches in the game controller, you know what? No. I missed the frame I wanted, so that's why I'm trying this again. Given that I hyped it up so much, I would like to actually be able to show it off. There we go. It allows us to do stuff like this. Basically, I can be a human task. Pause strats allow us to do stuff that would normally not be humanly possible, at least not RTA. Although you can lose time in the pause menu, so I want to be paused for as little time as possible because this is timed with RTA, not in-game time. In-game timing for this would suck, actually, adding up all the level times. But I'm going to quit right out of beginner and move on to the advanced portion of this run. And this is where collision starts to rear its ugly head here. You'll see an advanced 2, and maybe a little bit on this stage. The collision isn't entirely consistent. Like I said, this game is deterministic, so it technically is. It's technically not RNG. But the game doesn't check for collision between frames, at least that's my understanding. So I can simply roll over a bump and just not get a clip I need. See, that was a good clip right there. I wasn't going quite as fast as I would have liked to, but I made it work, so. And I think we have time for a donation or two now. It's not too much crazy happening.
Alright, I can do that. We have $20 from Anonymous who just says, Larg.
Okay. One more?
Well, actually, I'll take a moment real quick to plug an upcoming incentive, if you don't mind. Here we got a
oh, yeah, go for it.
$200 incentive for alternate costumes in Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, currently sitting at 20 of 200, 10% there. So that one's coming up in an hour and a half. So let's get that one met, folks.
I'm really excited for that run. That's my friend Jax doing that one. Good luck, Jax. I'll be watching. I'm coming up now on perhaps the hardest the hardest pauseless strat of the game. This stage right here, floor 7. We're gonna skip all of it, hopefully. Yep, just like that. First try. That one is a lot trickier than it might seem. So, I said I was going to explain the monkeys, I almost forgot to do that. They do not have any statistical differences. The game plays the same no matter which monkey you're using, it is purely visual. I like using Baby the most because he has the smallest model, so it's easier to see around him. So on stages with like thin wires, for example, it's easiest to see where exactly I am. Gongon blocks my view a lot more. Gongon is great, still. We all know that, but Gon, IA, and Mimi, the larger models do block my view a little bit. So when I'm doing PB attempts, I will start with Baby. Another bonus stage coming up here, the newer one. Floor 10. You may have noticed that they do repeat. Which I don't believe is present in Monkey Ball 2, so that's kind of interesting. This stage is... it's quite the doozy. Green goal at least is incredibly hard, and I'm going to not fall out. Okay, wow. The alignment was pretty poor there. I was trying to correct it the whole time, but I never quite got something I was comfortable with. This is a lot better. There we go. Clip up into the goal. You don't have to go around. That's for losers. Kidding, by the way. You're not a loser if you have to do that at all. This game is not particularly easy. Level 13 here has jumpies. That's the name of this stage in Deluxe, so I like to call them jumpies. This is the only level they show up in this game for some reason. They show up again in Monkey Ball 2. But they added this new mechanic here, and then they didn't use it at all after this level, which I thought was pretty funny. Speaking of new mechanics, we have Jamabars here, and they move with a tilt of gravity. You tilt gravity in this game, and the camera adjusts to reflect that, so you don't actually tilt the stage or control the monkey, technically. But it does feel very intuitive still. Now I'm going to be going for a 4-frame pause strat here. We'll see what happens. 65, good. 76, and 28. Beautiful. That's a 1-frame window, into a 1-frame window, into a 2-frame window, into a 1 or 2-frame window, depending on which frame I get for the third one. As you can see, pause strats in this game can get pretty ridiculous, and I'll be showing another one that's even crazier, hopefully, when we get to floor 21. But until then, probably have one donation. If you are ready for it.
Yes, actually, have $7 from Focus Sight for that first try A7 master in the house for real.
Oh no. Oh, you called me a master right as I died. This strat is a bit tricky. I have to air boost perfectly in the air here and then pull back so I don't fly off the stage. I pulled back too early. That's what happened. I landed on the slope, which sort of carried my momentum and slugged me out of the stage. Floor 19 is pretty cool. I like how the devs sort of nudge you towards speedrun strats, because that's got to be intended. You start so high up there, and the goal is right there. It's just begging to be skipped, that level. Speaking of skips, we're out of this bonus stage, the hardest one to exit out of. And here comes a crazy pause strat. I'm going to be relatively silent for this one. 25. I'll give it another go. My estimate accounts for this, so it's fine. Ignore the continue.
Ready?
I missed it again. Okay. Can I live this? I can! Hey! Alright, that was interesting. I'll have another chance to show something like this off in Expert, so I'm not too worried about it. But for now, we just get to chill out here, so I guess we can read another donation or something.
Alright, I can do that. We have $40 from, hey, it's Focus Sight again.
Hey,
it's just
Focus.
saying, go get him, Helix. Heart.
I'll try. Thanks, Focus, I appreciate it. Oh boy.
Ready?
Reading donations at different times than I usually do. Fix it up a bit on commentary, I suppose. But this strat right here is really cool, because I just hold up and that sets this up. And it has a really slick bounce. Timing was off. This advanced is not the best, but that's alright, because I'm still showing off what I want to show off. The ending of advanced here is not too spectacular, except for floor 25, its next floor. It has the easiest warp goal in the game. There's a super easy clip that you can get to that green goal. And the way we do the blue goal here is actually one of the hardest puzzle strats in the game. Ooh, almost. I got a strange bounce there that I wasn't quite prepared for. What the heck? So what happened the first time was I was too far left, and then the second time I was too far right. So hopefully we'll have sort of a Goldilocks situation here, and I can get and get it just right for this third try. Looks good. Yes, there it is. Alright. Doing that stage the intended way takes so long. If you do it the intended way, you'll see the second instance of Jamma bars. The only other instance of Jamma bars besides Advanced 14, but we skipped that portion of the level, so you don't get to see them. And then, I don't believe they're used in Monkey Ball 2 either. It's really weird how they introduced that mechanic and then like never used it again ever. And now we have some spikes here. These are a cycle. I can't do anything to influence these. But I can speed through them, so that's cool. Level 29 and 30 are, I'm going to make look extremely easy. Because they have not too difficult strats. You would think especially floor 30 would be somewhat difficult, but it's not. I can just kind of glide over the whole stage. It's kind of crazy. Just like that. And we're going to now exit out of Advanced and move on to Expert. Now normally in my PB attempts, I would be starting with Expert, because it is, well, it's Expert. I mean, it's difficult. This first split, this would be the first split if I were doing PB attempts. These first 10 stages here are quite brutal. A lot of difficult stuff, and it features Expert 7, which is probably the most infamous level in Monkey Ball. If you've played this game as a kid, you'll know about Expert 7. I definitely was stuck there for maybe years. Playing this game as a kid, it was just so difficult. There's a really cool strat here. We're not going to take this warp goal, obviously, but I'm almost going to fake like I am. This isn't great. Yeah, okay. Well, you get the idea. That strat was found relatively recently by Mr. Ike, so shoutouts to him, and also shoutouts to Callum and Haruki, who found most of these pause strats that I'm using in this run. Very, very helpful. Callum even made an awesome pause frame sheet that looks beautiful, very easy to read. So, very, very much helps out when you're learning this game. And by the way, if you would like to learn this game, please hit me up on Twitter or Discord or something. I would love to help you out. Speaking of pause strats, 98, 53, perfect. That one saves like 14 seconds. It's a really, really important pause strat. If you want to go for world record, well, world record is actually like almost impossible in these categories because Callum is crazy, but if you want to go for a top time, you almost have to use that one. You can play this game pauseless though too, some people do, and it's just as impressive. But here's the hard part of this stage, so I'm going to be quiet. Ooh. Not too bad. I went for a pause strat at the beginning there, but I missed my frame, so that's why I just unpaused and acted like nothing happened. We're going to have another strat. Whoa. Oh, that worked. Wow, I thought I was going to get destroyed by the party ball for sure. That's cool. Another strat here that I could pause, but I don't particularly want to, because this is more fun to do pauseless. Oh, okay. I always give this one shot pauseless in a marathon, and if the collision isn't nice to me, which it often isn't, then I'll go for it paused. So we just skip this barrier here and jump to the goal, which is behind us, other than actually taking one of these rails, because it's kind of difficult and it's kind of long, and why do it when we don't have to? Coming up next, we floor 11, and there's a really neat pause strat here. We'll see if I get it. Good for, oh, I was looking for 0.6, but I got 0.5. The pausing today hasn't been great, but that's alright. Sometimes you just have those days. So floor 12 here is, well, I'm going to be going for a rather difficult cycle to get a really fast time. Oh gosh, that movement was sketchy. I think I can still get it. Okay, I maybe shouldn't have gone for that clip, but it worked out. That is the fast cycle, so. This looks very similar to the advanced version of this level. Don't get them confused though, the strat is a little bit different. Floor 14 I feel doesn't get enough credit for being difficult. It requires very fine adjustments, especially at the end. Ah, see? That's why. They place these bumpers. These bumpers are evil. They put them in such a way. There we go. Not the fastest, but I didn't want to die again. Still got a 54 out of it, so that's a pretty good time for that stage. Floor 16 here, it looks very cool. A lot of the floors, the floors in the latter half of this underwater section are relatively timing based, like 15, 19. This I'll be using a pause strat to pretty much skip over the entirety of this level, you'll see. Just like that, nearly perfect. Got denied by the party ball at the end, it looked like, but it's okay, because I didn't actually, like, fly out of where I needed to be or anything, so that's alright. The party ball in this game... Wow, that was close. The party ball in this game is very annoying. Very often will block you from entering the goal. In Monkey Ball Adventure, if you hit it, it gives you the goal, which I think is hilarious. Good timing there. Coming up now on the bonus stage, again, bonus 20. And we are out of there. That is the last bonus stage that's going to be even somewhat difficult to get out of. There are no more super high railings like that or anything, which is always a relief to get past that. Whoa. 421. Another stage that requires very fine adjustments today. Just barely drifted too far on. As you can see, this game is not easy. That's better. So 422 is where collision is going to show up again, in a big way. This stage almost never goes the same way twice in a row, because of collision. As you can see, these letters are spaced apart, so I really have to get some speed and gap between them. 52 is a pretty good time for that strat. I'm actually really happy with that. There is some faster, more risky stuff I can do, but I do not want to do that in a marathon, because that's very dangerous. 424. My pausing hasn't been great, but I'll go for this strat once. Oh, something was wrong. Okay. This happened last time I ran this at a marathon too. I actually got the frames that I needed, but either something was wrong with my controller notches, or I wasn't in one of my controller notches properly, and so I wasn't actually getting what I expected. And strat wasn't working as intended. So if your controller notches are off a little bit, or maybe you're not holding exactly the correct direction, then the pause strats will not work. Luckily, most GameCube controller notches are pretty good, at least good enough for this. You don't need any special notches or anything either, just the standard GameCube controller 8-direction notches, thankfully. Also, that stage is really long. It's like the longest stage in the game, so that's why I was trying to skip it. The pause strat only skips half of it even, so... This strat's really cool looking if I can nail it. Ooh, okay. Had to go for the backup. Didn't get as much speed as I wanted off the second bounce, actually. This stage has these arrows that I'm going to completely ignore because I'm a speedrunner. None of that. 27 is another stage where collision comes into play. Luckily, we have a pause strat for this. And if I miss 60, which I did, there's 50 as a backup. It's a kind of a cozy pause strat. It's one frame as a backup, it's really nice. It just helps you skip across that stage. If you fling yourself at that stage without pausing, there's like a 1 in 5 chance maybe that you'll actually make it across. It's collision. Doesn't always do what you would expect it to. Speaking of, this stage is awful with collision. But I'm going to use a pause strat again to hopefully make it consistent. Yes, I got the frames I was looking for. Oh, okay. Normally I would get a bounce off the front of that conveyor, but I didn't, so I actually did have to rely on collision at the end there. If I didn't get a little clip up from the end of that conveyor, I would have just fallen to my demise. So this stage is not too bad. Just do a little quarter circle here. 32 is coming up, and this is another one of the longest stages in the game. Not quite as long as 24, but they make you do just this very rude wraparound because at the end they put the thinnest mandatory bridge in the game up to this point. Thinnest mandatory bridge in Expert, anyway. Master has some worse ones, but I'm gonna go quiet here for the end. Oh gosh, see, that's why. I don't like falling on that stage, because it loses like 30 seconds. I If I were to do like a PB attempt, falling at the end of the stage would be an instant run killer. That's just how much time this takes. There is a pause strat for this, actually. It's 5 frames and it only saves like a second. It's really funny. Gosh. The movement isn't the best right now. So I was a little bit too far to the right both times. I do have a tendency to overcorrect in this game, so hopefully that doesn't happen, fingers crossed. It's very, very easy to overcorrect. Especially with how quickly this game's camera moves. Yeah, see? I overcorrected. This stage doesn't normally take me 4 tries, but hey. That's just what happens sometimes. After this, I'll elaborate on the comment I made about the game's camera. Stay on one. Wow. I'm really trying to over-adjust here, it seems. That's my big issue. Like I said, normally this doesn't happen. This is why my estimate is 28, and my PB is like a 21, because of stages like this. I'm very glad that I didn't go lower. Alright, we spent enough time on that stage. We spent enough time in this ice world already, and we still have a bunch of stages to go, so let me elaborate on what I said about the game's camera. Super Monkey Ball 2's camera moves a lot more slowly and at a different angle. This game's camera moves more quickly. Helps you turn more quickly, and I like that. It gives me an extra sense of control, but it does make it harder to do fine adjustments, so sometimes that will show up in stages like Expert 21, Expert 32, stuff like that. Anyway, I have a great opportunity to redeem myself here. With Expert 36, remember those frames I went for on 21? I will be doing something similar here again. Oh gosh, I went way too far. I really want to show this off. But I'm not going to take too many tries at it because of how much time I spent on 32.
Ready?
One more. At least this one isn't using a continue. Finally, there we go. And adjust and in. Alright, at least I got to show that off. That's what pause strats can do. It's a lot of frames, but if you get it, it looks so cool and it does save quite a bit of time, that one. Not all of them save that much time, as I mentioned. Alright, enough of me talking. Let's get some donations.
All right, we can do that. We have $10 from Zojolix, who says, "Good luck, Helix, and remember, long-fingered baby does not exist, and it can't hurt you."
Oh no. I was doing a debug percent run, and then after that I did like a debug showcase, and right before I did that showcase, I discovered that in the game's debug menu I can like swap the models of the characters, so I pasted Gongon's model onto Baby, and as you can imagine, that was like the worst thing anyone has ever seen. So I did that in the debug showcase, and it was terrifying. 442 has some work goals that I will not be taking. 43 is almost an auto-scroller, but there's some cool little skips here using these bumps on the stage. These bumps that are supposed to try to keep me in bounds, but I just completely ignore them and actually use them to my advantage. I'm never going fast enough here for collision to actually become a problem. So this is a very consistent strat, despite the fact that it does rely on some clips. 44, I'll be using a pause strat to hopefully skip almost this entire stage, you'll see. 70, 05, perfect. Getting that one first try is nice. This one saves quite a bit of time as well. 45 is basically an auto-scroller. There's another pause strat for this one, but it's 5 frames and it saves 1 second, and it's so late and expert that you're nuts if you try it. But let's go for a donation again.
Certainly. Have $20 from Socks, who says, "It's my birthday, so I'm treating myself to something nice. Let's go, Helix, and save the animals."
I was gonna shout you out after this, actually. Shout out to Socks. It's her birthday.
Ready?
Thanks for tuning in, friend, and donating, of course. As you all know, these donations go to a great cause, and there are some very, very cool bid wars, incentives, etc. that you can donate to. 47 is the worst stage in the game. They put stairs in my ball game. I don't know why they would do that, but the collision works in such a way that you can just get stuck here too. Luckily I have a setup, so I get it almost every time. But I hate that stage so much. It's like the developers know it too, because you can skip it with a warp roll. But I can't do that, because I'm playing Warpless. Okay, I'm glad I got this one first try. This pause strat's really cool. That's the IL strat. But there's a pause setup to do it RTA. It's really cool. The time is actually going to be coming up in a couple stages here. When I touch the goal, or when I break the goal tape on floor 50. One last pause strat for the road. Looking for 26.30. There it is. And in the goal. That's time. Not the best run, I'll admit, but hey, I hope it was entertaining at the very least, and I do have an incentive that I'm like 99.9% sure that was met, so I'm just gonna get confirmation real quick here.
You are correct. The incentive
Awesome.
was met. Expert any percent.
So, yeah, expert any percent. Thanks for the GGs, everyone. Thanks for your support. It's very much appreciated. Expert any percent. Let's do low manip real quick to shave like a second off this time, first of all. Well, I can explain it while it's happening. You'll see. There's some downtime here. But if y'all are ready on the timer, we'll wait for confirmation, because I did just finish a different run. Hoping so. Give them a little bit here.
Actually, if you have a moment, I have a quick donation that might be a bit relevant here.
Oh, go for it.
Now we have $1 from Long Finger Baby who says, "I see you."
What? Who did this? Who is this? I will find you.
That's right, it was a Long Finger Baby.
Actually, long-fingered baby might find me first. Oh no, is right. Yeah, are we ready on the timer? I do have chat up, so you can tell me in chat as well.
Ready on timer.
Awesome. Alright, let's get this any percent. Category on the road. Same countdown as last time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So the first thing we get to do is hurry up and wait. I'm not going to do anything for a little bit. So once the timer gets to about 2 seconds, I'm going to go for a pause strat that will put me in the goal after time expires. Now you might be asking, how is this possible? Well, the party ball, I'm going to get myself in such a position that the party ball will actually push me into the goal, because that's the only thing that stays moving. Other moving parts will stay moving for about a frame after the time ends, but there are none of those on the stage except for the party ball. 201, this works, and now I'm looking for 25, 23 works as well, and there it is. And all of a sudden, I'm on floor 50, but it's also floor 1, the game's freaking out, it says final floor, and that's expert, that's time. I should have warned you, because this one ends real quick. So that was expert done in under a minute. Yeah, that just kind of happens. The proposed explanation, I'm pretty sure this is what happens, I don't know 100%, is that if you complete the goal, or if you break the goal tape after time expires, the game freaks out a little bit and increments the stage counter by 1 every frame until the next stage loads. So it thinks you're on stage 50, but it also tries to put you back on stage 1 because, well, you died, you ran out of time. And so you play stage 1, but the game thinks it's floor 50, there's final floor in the corner, and it's just insanity. You can actually use this to sort of cheat and skip to the expert extra stages, which is really cool. There's actually a whole category based off that, and it's a great way to practice expert extra and master. But anyway, that's going to be it for me. A few shoutouts real quick here. Calithon, obviously, for having me. Very much appreciated. I hope you all continue to support this marathon, continue to donate. It's obviously for a great cause. I don't think I need to explain that. Shoutouts to Rolled Out. It's a fan game, a Monkey Ball inspired fan game that is going to be very, very good. Trust me, when that game comes out, you want to play it. I promise. I'm going to plug my Twitch real quick. Helix13_. Would appreciate a follow if you liked what you saw, but don't click off Calithon, of course. Really appreciate all the support, everyone. I see that chat was going crazy the whole time. Even if the run wasn't great, I hope it was still entertaining. That's it for me. Stay tuned, there's a lot more awesome runs to come.